Just when I take a step outside, the rain, it catches me with no warning. Right before liftoff, what was once light and airy can't catch my breath. Poor sweet canary, for the weight on my body. Oh, break me, take me, climb inside. Bring me to a new divide, and I will grow to know a better me. And this time I will lift off and fly. I will lift off and fly. Just when I take a step outside, all around I see the empty spaces. No matter how many times on this flight I can barely get the height. Now I want to soar with clean traces. Oh, break me, take me, climb inside. Bring me to a new divide, and I will grow to know a better me, a better me. And this time I will lift off and fly. I will. Can I just let go?
Early, I think. Okay. Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Bellevue. We are so grateful you are here with us on site and online. We welcome you one and all here at Unity of Bellevue. We intend that we are here to help us all grow spiritually, that we are here to expand our conscious evolution to becoming more and more of who we already are, our true nature that reflects divine love and joy and peace within us. So we are so grateful again that you are here. My name is Monica McDowell-Elvig. I'm your center administrator. I am also a temporary operations manager while we're in this transitional time. And we have some great service leaders that are helping out this morning. Susan Neidig was our meditation facilitator, and she is also our prayer chaplain this morning. Thank you, Susan. Dorothy Bostetter is our board host, and she is also going to be doing announcements. Cindy Akana is our guest speaker. This is the first time we've had Cindy as our guest speaker. She's been our guest artist several times, so we're looking forward to hearing from her. And Becca Palm is stepping in as our guest artist. We are so grateful for her willingness to do that. Jamie Sassy, of course, is our song leader, and they are going to kick us off with Lead Us On.
Good morning, everybody. Please stand and join me in our opening song. Lead me on, lead me up, lead me higher and higher. Holy Spirit, do your perfect work in me. Let your love, let your joy, let your peace and your kindness, let the fruit of your Spirit flow through me. Lead me on, lead me up, lead me higher and higher. Holy Spirit, do your your perfect work in me. Let your love, let your joy, let your peace and your kindness, let the fruit of your Spirit flow through me. Lead me on, lead me up, lead me higher and higher. Holy Spirit, do your perfect work in me. Let your love, let your joy, let your peace and your kindness, let the fruit of your Spirit flow through me. Let the fruit of your Spirit flow through me.
We invoke the divine Spirit. We know that the Spirit's perfect work is being done in us. We know that as we transform and as we evolve, we shine more and more of that inner brilliance that is our true light, and that we reflect the perfection of divine will in our being and in our actions. We invoke all the good that is already happening, that is already here, ready to manifest within us as individuals and as a community. We breathe in the sacred breath. We settle into the peace that passes all understanding. And we breathe in again. Breathing in more peace, more light. Sending that out to the whole community here and online, to the whole world, to Ukraine and Russia. We bring absolute peace into this place. And we declare this is sanctuary, this community, this celebration service is sacred. We are so grateful. And so it is.
A soul, is it mine or is it ours? Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost and won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to this present moment, here to a new beginning. We're right here. I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
Are you ready? Thank you, Becca. It is the fourth Sunday in our Metaphysical Lent, the Spiraling Path series, and I am thrilled to be sharing yet another submission. This one comes from Rita Schwarting, and what she has done is a number of photographs, and she's also done a poem, which is Lyrics Spiraling Around My Mind. And I left the copy of mine over on the floor over there, but I have printed out a number of copies along with all of the other submissions from previous weeks. So if you would like to take those home with you and reflect on them further, please do that. I'm going to read the lyrics, and we're going to just enjoy the photographs from Rita as I read her poem. Lyrics spiraling around my mind. God is, I am. I see fields of green, red roses too. I say to myself, hey Jude, don't feel so sad. It's a wonderful world. Raindrops on roses, whiskers on kittens, skies of blue, clouds of white. Let there be peace on earth. Here comes the sun, little darling. Take a sad song and make it better. I'd like to teach the world to sing, let there be peace on earth, in perfect harmony. I'd like to build the world a home and let it begin with me and furnish it with love. Pass people on the street saying, I love you. Let there be peace on earth. Somewhere over the rainbow, there's a song in my heart. Happy little bluebirds fly. One power. Call it God. Call it Buddha, call it love. Mares eat oats. Happy birthday to you. Holy, holy, holy. The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. My way. I left my heart in San Francisco. Beyond the rainbow, way up high. I am the light, the peace that is meant to be. One family. Thank you, Rita, for that beautiful submission. I'm going to read Cindy's bio. So this is the first time finding out a little bit more about her, and here it is. She has a Master of Arts degree in theology and has spent over 20 years in professional youth and young adult ministries in churches and higher education. She grew up in the Protestant tradition, but has spent the past 15 years serving as a musician and speaker at Unity, CSL, and progressive Protestant churches. She is currently a teacher at an alternative high school. We are so grateful you are here. We know that the Spirit has blessed you with a message for us today, and we know that it will also be a blessing to you, for you to be here. We are so grateful for your presence. Thank you, Cindy. She has a few different verses for her readings for her talk this morning, and I'm going to read those to you. The first one is from Philippians 4, 6 through 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And then from Isaiah 43, verse 2, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. And then from Matthew, the good news according to Matthew, chapter 8, starting at verse 23. And when Jesus got into the boat, his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great storm on the sea, so that the boat was being swamped by the waves. But Jesus was asleep. And they went and woke him, saying, "Save us, Master, we are perishing." And he said to them, "Why are you afraid, O you of little faith?" Then he rose, and he rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. And the disciples marveled, saying, "What sort of man is this, that even winds and sea obey him?" We give thanks for this word as we allow it to dive deep into our hearts and souls. For our affirmation this morning, I am going to read it through one time, and then we will stand and are we going to stand? Let's stand this time and affirm it in one voice. So let me read it through one time. I'm relying on my Protestant background where we up and down all the time. No matter where I am on my spiritual journey, I am learning and growing in consciousness. I experience the expansion of my being on all levels: physical, emotional, mental, relational, and spiritual. Everything I am is sacred. All that I know is blessed. I surrender to the energizing, spiraling path of my divine unfoldment. And so it is. Let's stand and affirm in one voice. No matter where I am on my spiritual journey, I am learning and growing in consciousness. I experience the expansion of my being on all levels: physical, emotional, mental, relational, and spiritual. Everything I am is sacred. All that I know is blessed. I surrender to the energizing, spiraling path of my divine unfoldment. And so it is.
Come on and walk on the water with me. Come on and walk on the water with me. You will not fail. You will not fail. Come on and walk on the water with me. Come on and walk on the water with me. You will not fail. You will not fail. Will you join me? Come on and walk on the water.
Come on, everybody, stand up and let's sing this together. Come on and walk on the water with me. You will not fail. You will not fail. Come on and walk on the water with me. Come on and walk on the water with me. You will not fail. You will not fail. Come on and walk on the water with me. Come on and walk on the water with me. You will not fail. You will not fail. Come on and walk on the water. Come on and walk. You will not fail. You will not fail. All right, 1 minute here. Make a move in faith. March out in the deep. Be courageous. Get on off of that bow. And keep your eyes on me. Don't mind the wind and waves. Nothing's gonna stop us now. Come on and walk on the water.
on the water with me. You will not fail. You will not fail. Come on and walk
on the water with me.
Come on and walk. You will not fail. You will not fail. You will not fail. You will not fail. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I have this large petrified nautilus on my desk at home, and it's I love it because it's that opening spiral of the Fibonacci sequence, and it's a reminder to me that that spiraling sequence continually opens up more and more. It doesn't just go around, it opens up. So it's a reminder that as we go through life, through that spiral of life, that we can have more opportunities, probably more financial success, more enriching relationships. It opens up for that. So I like the idea of being opened up. Maybe I like this reminder because all too well I face another very closed spiral that I find paralyzing. And that is the one I'm talking about when you're standing on the rim and you're looking down at the vortex below you and you're going, oh my gosh, not this again. I can't do this. It's a spiral, but it goes down. And instead of opening up, it closes. It looks like it closes at the end, right? Have you been there before? Just once, right? And there's different degrees, but sometimes it's so daunting and it's so difficult to overcome. But perhaps for Lent, we can give up the crippling effects of that downward spiral. Perhaps for Lent, we can figure out better ways to calm those downward spirals so that we can move into the freshness of Easter, the freshness of spring, the freshness of something new. So I'm going to look at 3 possible ways to handle that spiraling downward. And the first one I put together is, I would say, persist and persevere. Now, these words are just a little bit different. That's why I use them both, where persistence is sticking to anything, no matter what obstacle comes your way, whatever you're facing. But the perseverance, the added part, is that in any delay in what you're trying to do. So it's not just sticking with it, but all of a sudden you think, oh, this should happen now. Okay, now. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And it's not. So the delay, but it's sticking with it even if there's a delay. In one of his books that I read, that Wayne Dyer wrote, he encourages his readers to persist in the face of obstacles and hardships. And he gives examples of people who were so wanting a specific outcome that they stuck with it no matter what they faced. They persisted. They kept at their dreams. They'd come upon an obstacle and they didn't just go, okay, whatever, it's not working. They just kept at it. They were not going to let anything get in their way. And when they finally reached their goal, it was so much greater than they could even have imagined. Now, why am I reading this book? I'm reading this book because I'm facing this big spiral, and so I'm trying to glean something from it to change who I am. And I'm standing on that swirling vortex, and I'm facing homelessness. I'm facing chronic illness from lupus, and I'm facing some deep sorrow from a divorce from a man I truly loved. I wanted some inspiration. I wanted to know, how do I move forward? How do I handle that spiral that was laid out in front of me? And the problem was I couldn't find anything bad enough to persevere. What do you hang on to? But when I look back, I did have something.
realized that I so badly wanted to live. My mind was so depressed. I was so sad. It was so dark at times that my body wanted to shut down. But I wanted to live, so I kept doing things to persevere through the darkness and the pain. I had a list of about 10, 12 friends that I trusted, that I called whenever I started to feel like my brain was going where it was not helpful. And I had that big of a list because I would call one and they wouldn't answer. So I'd call another one and they wouldn't answer. I'd call another one. So I had that list because I promised myself I'm going to keep calling till I reach somebody. And so finally I would get somebody and blah, 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 blah. And these are people that knew what I was going through and were able to give encouraging words or just sit and listen, right? They didn't tell me I was wrong. They didn't tell me I need to suck it up and get moving on, nothing like that. So it was a wonderful group. And the other reason I had this long list, because I didn't want to bother anybody over and over. I didn't want to burden them. Like, oh my God, here she is calling me again, right? So if they got one phone call a month, they could handle that. But if it was every other night, not so good, possibly. Except for my sister, she didn't care. Of course, other things included I cried a lot. I went to therapy. And I kept up a spiritual practice. That was my favorite part when people would say, well, you know what? You're just not practicing your spirituality. And I'd be like, and you know who you're talking to, right? You know? So, no, I was doing that. And the thing that I found is that it was hard to find relief, even in the biblical text. And so I do come from my master's is in theology. I have a BA in BS, which is BA in Biblical Studies from SPU, but I went on to get a master's in theology as well. And I love the scriptures, and I love to work with them and do all sorts of cool things with them, right? But even then, I would like the Philippians passage that was read this morning. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, present your requests to God. And the peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds. And I found no solace in that. I'm like reading this going, I want, but I'm not. So I ended up writing songs like my songs, Wings on Wind, where I pulled some texts from the Old Testament and New Testament that were encouraging. And I wove them into this song so that I could repeat the concepts. I could sit at the piano and just play as loudly as I wanted to and sing these words. And it's not a loud song, but I would do it loudly because I needed to just do it over and over and over so that those concepts would become part of the inner side of me. And what's wonderful is it did help me. It did help me move along. But I also did some unconventional things. I'm a little embarrassed to talk about them. I'm going to tell you one. One time I was driving along and I stopped at a stop sign and I jumped out of my car and I ran back the way I came. My car just sat there at the stop sign. I was trying to get away from that looming depression, pain, darkness that was just covering me. It felt like it was engulfing the whole car and I had to get out. So I got out and I just ran. And then I think, where am I going to go? I have to turn around and go back. But just the running did move me away, moved me out of that. It got my endorphins going as well, right? So then I could handle it. So I went back to my car, got in my car, and went on my way. I often did that with my bike, too. I love to get on my bike and just ride because it was like escaping. I'm riding faster than the actual emotions, and then to feel the cool wind blowing on my face and on my arms as I was riding. And then again, you get your endorphins going by just being active, so that helped that. But I lived along the edge of that downward spiral for 3 years, circling the rim, but I never fell in. And then one day, the spiraling abyss was gone. And here I am 13 years later. I made it through. I persisted and I persevered. Was it easy? It was not. Was it worth it? It was. Second option, I'm going to call reframing and restoring. Now, reframing is not new to New Thought, the idea of the way how you think about something. So reframing, looking at changing the way you look at the world. So look at the spiraling vortex before you, and as it goes, how are you looking at that? Can you change the way you look at that? And I think of like how I first started, like, oh no, I can't do this again. Can I change that thought pattern to, I can handle this. I have the abilities to work through this. What a different way of looking at it, right? Can I change? Why does this always happen to me? We all say that at some point, right? So it's not always just happening to you, but let's change that to, this is a situation where I get a chance to practice my problem-solving skills. When have you thought that before? Put that in your repertoire, right? Improve yourself by improving your situation, right? Or switch the whining, what's wrong with me? And we don't say it like that, but that's what it kind of sounds like. But change it to, I should find out more about what is going on and what I need to do to change. What can I do? So in each one of those situations, you take something that's victim, or you feel like a victim, or you feel like it's your fault and you're doomed, and you change it around to, like, what can you do positively to switch that up? Turning a negative outlook that can keep you down into a positive outcome that leads you forward. Now, the second part of this is the restore. The restore is about you taking care of yourself. And I think we neglect this a lot. That may mean speaking up for yourself. Maybe you need to say something to somebody. Taking a stand for or against something that hurts you or hurts somebody. Setting boundaries. Ending destructive relationships. The restoring is things that you can do for yourself to help yourself. If I look back at those turbulent 3 years, I was actually participated in a therapy group that helped me understand what I was lacking. And I thought that was the most beautiful part. If you're in individual therapy, one thing, but in a group, you find yourself listening to others and going, oh, okay. Fortunately, I don't have to share my story because I heard theirs, and I'm getting a picture from that on something I can do differently. Or I see a pattern, and I'm like, oh, I can change that, and I had that same pattern. So that group therapy thing was really, really good, helpful for me to be able to see the things that I could do to get out of my doom and gloom, doom and gloom. And one of the things was I needed to get on better medication for depression. Big, big help. And it was interesting, it was in that kind of thing that I realized that the vortex before me of swirling water that kept lapping at my feet had actually flattened out. It's not like it disappeared, but in a sense it had flattened out. And now I could actually walk across it like it was not there. I was no longer facing these daunting fears over poor health and no finances. Not that those were necessarily better, but I wasn't facing the fears of them. And I could cross that spiraling zone. And I like the story when Jesus got into the boat and his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great storm on the sea, so that the boat was being swamped by the waves, but Jesus was sleeping. Dude, wake up. And they were all freaked out. That's what the Greek means, is they were all freaked out. They wake him up and they say, save us, we are perishing. And he said to them, why are you afraid, you of little faith? And then he rose and rebuked the winds and the sea. Be gone. That's what he said, but they didn't write that in there either. And the men marveled. And they said, and if the women were there, they'd be going like, yeah, we knew he could do that. But the men marveled, and they said, what sort of man is this that even the winds and sea obey him? He had a different frame. Jesus was looking at that sea in a different lens than the disciples were looking. We can change our lens. So I like this. I like the idea that reframing and restoring is like rebuking the sea. Instead of letting it and the storm or the swirling waters below you take over you take control of it. You subdue it. And when we take care of ourselves and we change our thought patterns, we can calm that sea before us. So that's the second option, reframe and restore. The third option, and the last, because if you do good speaking, you only have 3 things, right? Because most of us don't have a fourth thing. Never mind. 3 is just good. The third option, which I'm delaying on because when you're circling the rim, sometimes the best thing is just to jump in, take the plunge. Outside of McLeod, which is a small town that sits in the shadow of Mount Shasta in California, there is this beautiful 8-foot waterfall that drops into this glorious, clear, cool, streamy pond below it. So I was with a group of people, and we went out to see that, and we were there. There were some locals that were jumping off the ledge, the top of the waterfall, into the pool. So we could see that it was safe. It's like, oh, that's deep. I'm not going in first. If I watch them jump in, I'm like, okay, it's safe, so I know it's safe. So we started doing the same thing, just jumping in. It was so cold and cool, but you'd pop in and you'd come up, and it was so great. And then the locals thought they were going to be really cool, and they crossed the stream, climbed a tree, and jumped into where the waterfall hit into the water. And my group is all looking at each other like, we aren't doing that. Which gives me the thing, because I'm competitive. Like, I'm doing that. My whole group ain't going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I figured it's not hard to get across the stream upstream or whatever. So I go over and I climb up the tree. And I'm in like the arm, of the deer. So you're another 4 to 6, depending on which, arm you take. I took the 4-foot one, so I'm another 4 feet off. The tree is kind of hanging over the ledge, right? And then so I have my 8 feet, 4 feet. So I'm doing a 12-foot jump. As I look down in it, I am not thinking about the jump. I'm thinking about the end result. I'm going to pop back up after I go in that water. So that's how I got rid of my fear. I'm thinking of the end. I'm going to, same experience that I had before, so it's higher, who cares? The point is, once I go in there, I'm going to come back out up. And it's going to feel refreshing. So I jump. My friends followed. We had a great time. And I did come back up out of the water. But I want to go back again to those dark days of mine and show how this fits. At one point, I faced losing my housing, losing my son, and my possessions. And I kept doing everything I could, that perseverance, trying to hang on to everything the best that I could. And it wasn't working. The stress of trying to keep everything got worse and worse as I ran out of money. So I grabbed onto the inspirational teachings of the Buddha about letting go. And I thought, well, this is a chance of me to let go, right? So I let go of my possessions, let go of my housing, let go of my son, who went to go live with his dad, who lived in another state. I moved in with a friend. I eventually had to sell all of my furniture and everything. And that was my way of just jumping into this financial downward spiral that was before me. I wasn't able to keep anything. But like the stream, I focused on the end. I said, when I jump into this thing, I really don't know how it's going to turn out. But I do know that I'm going to pop up somewhere. And so I could jump in because I knew it wasn't going to kill me. I'm going to pop in, I'm going to do whatever I need to do, and I'm going to pop up somewhere, and it's going to be better. It was a hard time. I did not know that doing all that did a couple things prosperity-wise. Because I didn't have a job, my son ended up getting pretty much a full ride to Stanford University because his parents didn't make very much money. It's because I didn't have a job. So he gets into Stanford. That was the hard part. The big part is because I didn't make any money, is that he got this full ride scholarship to Stanford, which paid for both his bachelor's and most of his master's. That was beautiful. The other thing is I came back and I changed careers from youth ministry to the teaching profession, and I make over twice as much as what I used to make before all this happened. But coming out of, I know what I want to back up just one thing. As I came out of that water, from that hard time, I now look back and I can see what happened. I became a stronger person. I'm a kinder person. I'm a more giving person. I'm a braver person. I would still jump. At 62 years old, I would still jump out of that tree into that water. I would still do that. But I'm also less tolerant. I am not tolerant of gender inequality. I am not tolerant of racism, and I am not tolerant of offenses against LGBTIQ plus rights. And so I speak up more. That's the braver part, right? And I think all of these things put together makes me a better person. So coming out of those deep, dark waters to me was like coming into an Easter morn. It's like a rebirth, a rising up from the ashes, if you will. So I'm reminded in the text of Isaiah that was read, when you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And when you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. And when you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. That I find comforting because we can go through it. We are not exempt from that because we go to a unity church. We all face stuff. That's just life. That's the spiral. We're down, we're up, we're down, we're up, right? And sometimes we're looking at this vortex in front of us. We don't escape those things, but we do have tools to handle them. But I think one of the important parts of this journey is that I was never alone. Spirit was always with me. Love was always with me. My higher self was always with me. And things like my sister and my cousin and some very close friends were there with me. The CSL of Seattle was very, very key for me to get through that period. So I just want to summarize these three things. But my friend Alfredo wanted to do the summary because he said he had something, a good way to do this. So I'm just going to get him. Alfredo, where are you? Hi, I'm Alfredo, like the sauce. Welcome, Alfredo. Thank you. You said that you wanted to summarize this for me. Yes, I do. I liken it to me making sauce. Like when I'm making my, well, how do you want me to do this? However you want. You want to go through this each scenario? Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, so the first one is like when I'm making my creamy white Alfredo sauce. They named it after me. I'm making it and I'm stirring it and I'm tasting it and it's not that good. So I stir some more. And I stir. And I add some things. And it's not working out, so I end up just tossing it out, starting all over, until I get it perfect. Now, that's not exactly what Cindy said, but you get the idea, right? I kept at it until it was perfect. Yeah, that works. The second one would be like when I'm making my red sauce, and I have to stir it really fast. And I stir and stir until all of a sudden I see the bottom of the pan, and it freaks me out. So I stop stirring, and the sauce goes flat. It's all smooth. So that's not really what Cindy said either, but it kind of gives you the idea, right, of, vortex to smooth. Yeah, that works. Okay, good. The third one is, again, like when I'm making my white Alfredo sauce. It's so yummy that sometimes I look in and I want to just dive in. I don't jump because I don't have legs. So I dive in. Now, it's so yummy. But I do come up for air. And that's not really what you said either, no. But, it works. Yeah, it does work. Yeah, it was a very good summary of all those things. Excellent, good. Hey, are you coming over for lunch? Oh, what are you having? Well, I'm going to make vegetarian lasagna without vegetables. It's going to be delicious. Okay, no, I'm happy to come over. Well, what about all of these people? Could they come over? Well, Alfredo, you can't just invite the whole group over. Why not? Your place isn't very big. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Another time, maybe. Anyway, I'm Alfredo. Like the sauce. Bye. When Becca goes places, her husband comes to watch. When I go places, Alfredo's like, can I help? Can I help? So he summarized that very nicely for me, I think. So in closing, I just want to say, I cannot give you a formula of when you can restore and repair and reframe, or when you need to persist or persevere, or when you need to jump in. You get to use your own brains. That's why we were given those. You get to use your support system and figuring out what's going to work for you. And the other great part is you already have tools. This is not new stuff. And you have ways of doing it. So you're probably going to find new things that you could share with me. But that's the part I want to say. It's not necessarily simple that way, like, oh, I'm going to do this. This is the formula. No, you get to decide. You get to work that out. And as you break through, think of it like you're breaking through to an Easter morn, to be refreshed unto a newness. We're going to move into a time of meditation. So go ahead and close your eyes if you want to, if you're comfortable, and get yourself comfortable. And focus on your breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, just listen to it. This is our life force that moves in and out without us thinking. As you breathe, just let the tension roll away from your shoulders. As you breathe in and breathe out, let the tension roll away from your core. As you breathe in and breathe out again, relax your legs. And then I want you just to open up to the universe to present to you some kind of swirling, circling water that you face. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be a small thing, something that you're not quite sure what to do with just yet. Maybe it's an obstacle, a frustration. Just give you a chance to bring that forward to yourself. We're going to take a look at that for a second. So find that. I'm here to tell you that you're safe as you look at it. You are not alone. You are loved. And whatever you decide to do is okay. There's no judgment here. I'm just going to give you some prompts, like the beginning of sentences, and I want you to conclude them. See what comes out. And the less you turn on your brain, sometimes it can be more helpful. If you're a brain person, go ahead and let that brain go. It's okay. You can use it. So as you look at that, I want you to finish the sentence. I need what? I need. And it can be more than one thing. If nothing jumps out to you, it's okay. But change the prompt to I want. I want. What do you want? What do you want to happen in this situation? What do you want to happen for you? What do you want to happen for someone else? I'm going to move on to I can. I can. What can you do? I can. Give yourself credit for what you can do. We are not helpless. But that brings us to the next one. I will ask for help with, because we're not alone. Where will you ask help? From whom will you ask for help? I will ask for help with or for. And the last phrase I want you to do is, I can look at this differently. I can look at it and change this to this. How can you look at this situation or this person or this circumstance differently? We choose life. We choose love. We choose light. And we use these things to move through life no matter what comes our way. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.
Before I walked, I learned to crawl. Before I stood, I learned to fall. But one day I awoke from sleep to find I'd made a giant leap. The current running down my spine, a travel pass, a railway line, sometimes green and sometimes red, the path where love is led. Shuffle the cards, pick a fate, cars passing on the interstate. I drove before I learned to fly and see my choices from the sky. A clover leaf, a circuit grill, a wildflower-studded hill, a kitten with a ball of thread, the path where love is led. Strand by strands, the knots release, an open hand, a gift of peace. With gentle-hearted candles lit, I flew before I learned to sit. With galaxies of spinning minds on the cliff, we all can find transcendent peace of mind instead, the path where love is led.
Good morning. Is this on? Good morning. I'm Dorothy Bostetter. I am your board host today, and it's my pleasure to bring us to the point in our service where we recognize the gifts of our financial abundance and bless our center with those gifts. For those of you who are new to our teaching, we would welcome your gift with love and gratitude, and please know that there is no expectation at all. We're very grateful for your presence here. For those of us who call Unity of Bellevue our spiritual home, we know that this is where we can come to be reminded of the truth of who we are, and also to get some tools along the way for when we're standing on the rim. Thank you for that. We also know that abundance circulates through our lives, and as we give and as we receive and as we give out, it comes back to us in multitudes. As we consider the way that we bless our center with our spiritual gifts, please hold that gift in your heart and in your hand if you have it physically with you. For those in the sanctuary, there's a basket near the back door. And for those of you online, and for all of us, there are other ways to give as well, which are on the screen. As you hold your gift in your mind and heart, please join me in our offering affirmation. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and so it is.
And so we give thanks for these tithes and love offerings. We commit them to doing a great and mighty work in us and in the world. We offer them up for the highest and best good, knowing they will be used to the greatest benefit to awaken people to their spiritual nature and to bring transformation for all of our lives, for a world that works for everyone. We are so grateful for all who are here, for all who give in the multitude of ways that they give. We are so grateful, and so it is.
I am also doing announcements today. Again, my name is Dorothy Bostetter. I am also the board treasurer, and it's my pleasure to be with you all today. If you are visiting us for the first time, welcome. Please pick up a welcome packet in the atrium to the left of the front doors. Inside is a 20% off coupon that you can use in our bookstore. If you're visiting with us virtually, please go to our website, unityofbellevue.org. Go to the I'm New page and request a welcome packet from there. We also recommend and invite you to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter. On the bottom of every page of our website is the sign-up sheet for that. It's the best way to stay on top of everything that is happening here at Unity of Bellevue. The prayer chaplains are here to pray for you anytime. Today in person is Susan Neidig, who will be leading our hybrid prayer circle in the library after service. You can join online as well on a Zoom link that is on our website launch page. If you have any prayer requests, you can fill those request cards out by the south entrance, or there's a form on our website. And the prayer chaplains will receive those and pray for you. We are planning, we have a youth survey coming out. We are planning on reopening the youth program soon, and if you have children or grandchildren, or know of any other children in your life, or would like to volunteer in the youth wing, please fill out the survey that's been in the newsletter and emails, or contact Sabrina McFadden. Our volunteer for the month of March is Howard Lamb. Howard, would you please join me? This is the fabulous Howard. He has been a volunteer in our production team up there in our sound booth since our reopening in early December. Week after week, he is up in the sound booth helping make our hybrid services possible. This has been an important part of including our members in our celebration service who are not able to join us in person. His hard work, time, and talent ensure the continued success of our production team. We are blessed by the gifts and talents Howard shares in helping Unity of Bellevue transform lives everywhere, because it's online after all. We have for you a gift certificate, or a certificate of appreciation, and we also have a pin for you. On behalf of all of us, thank you so very much for everything you give. Thank you. Yay, Howard. Thank you. If you would like to volunteer to support the service, the celebration service in any way, please contact Sabrina or Monica. There will be a training and Q&A this Tuesday on Zoom at 6 p.m. Pacific time for those of you who are interested. Today is Volunteer Sunday. Everybody who's volunteered during the month of March, if you would please stand up, and if you are online, if you would please stand if you'd like, place a hand over your heart while we all give you gratitude for all of the service this month. Please stand and hand on heart. Thank you for all that you bring to Unity. Save the date, April 9th, is our final healing engagement with the fabulous Reverend Dr. Donaldson. It's a hybrid ceremony on Saturday the 9th at 7 p.m. Pacific time. It will be on site and on Zoom. The music will be provided by Matthew Wilson and Dr. Richard Held from our sister church, Unity of Linwood. They're fabulous, by the way. All are welcome. Please, please join us. Thank you to Cindy Akana and Becca Palm for blessing us today with your message and your music. And finally, joining us next week will be Reverend Patrice Creelman and Patrick Creelman and the fabulous Rana Yellowrobe. Please join us. And now we will close the service with our peace song.
Be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Have a blessed week. Thank you, everyone. See you next Sunday.
I know all about how it feels to be free. Now that I've broken all the chains that held me, I know how to say all the things I want to say. Say them loud, I say them clear for the whole round world to hear. I want to share all the love in my heart. Remove all the bars that keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree everyone could be free. I want to give all God wants me in the sky. How sweet it would be if I found I could fly.